One thing I really took away from this conference, I really enjoy hearing the audience ask their questions after the presentations, because that's where I think I learn the most. I get to hear a lot of the struggles or the things that people are thinking about. And working with DMOs, it's very important for me to understand kind of what's on their mind. Working for Google, we're consistently looking at different ways to help our advertisers, especially in the travel space. And that's those kinds of things I can take back and see how I can help. I did get to talk a little bit in the past few days. I think a lot of people, at least what I've been handling, was a lot of mobile questions. A lot of people interested in learning more about mobile and knowing that it's important, but having a little bit of concern on how to get there. I mean, at times I think the digital space as a whole is big, but people find it a little bit overwhelming, and it is overwhelming. The data alone is overwhelming, but I think understanding the first steps of how to get there is very important. And just thinking about how mobile is someone's first impression of your brand, and being able to at least think about your website and don't try to put everything. I think everyone's like, well, what's most important? What should I be trying to tell everyone? And I think it's about thinking about the most important parts of your brand and putting that into a mobile website, not trying to put everything that you have and everything you want to tell everyone into your site, because it gets a little bit of a cluster and a little bit difficult to do. So I think those were exciting questions to kind of handle and walk through.
So if you wanted destinations to know one thing about Google that sounded like they didn't have enough information other than mobile, what would be one thing you'd want to tell everybody?
So I think especially in conferences like this where the size of the DMO is so it's a large variety, whether it's a very small CVB or a very large destination. I think that one thing that's exciting is that with online, you don't have to have those big dollars to make a big impact. I think a lot of these big companies are here, and you hear all these awesome stories, and people think, oh, well, I can't do that because it costs a ton of money. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think taking advantage of a lot of the free things that you can do, whether it's Facebook, Google+, YouTube, I think YouTube would be big. I think that having even a small budget and pushing out a video that people enjoy can do dramatic things for you. So trying to bulk up your YouTube channels, have videos that people enjoy, because one of the biggest parts of travel is the dreaming stage, and people want to watch those videos and see those photos and understand it better. And I think that's a big thing that you can get in front of people without spending any money at all or very little money and make a big impact.
This guy had a question for us. He said he had a regular Google page for his business,
right?
And then you guys switched over to Google Plus, and so it automatically got migrated. And then later on, you came out with pages.
Yeah, local pages and business pages.
Business pages, but all of his stuff was stuck in Google Plus. And he had a bunch of questions about administrative tools on how to get that out and back into a page. Did anyone ask you about that?
So no one asked me about that. I do think it's important to kind of keep up with a lot of the evolving things. One thing to realize is that a lot of stuff is new, and a lot of changes that are occurring are for the benefit of us or as a user, not necessarily for Google. Google does allow, we have a support team that I actually was a part of for a little while. It's 1-866-2-Google, the number 2 Google. You can call in anytime, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there's real live account managers on the line, just like myself, that are there to answer those questions. I think that the move is more for the interaction between mobile and getting more people to interact with Google Plus in a more efficient way. So we do have the tools and capabilities to combine those things, and I think it's more about getting your questions answered specifically to what you have, what your problem is. So always feel comfortable reaching out to Google directly to get those questions answered.
So you mentioned yesterday that your dream job would be to work at Google. And so I'm wondering, did you go to the headquarters? Did you do the tour? Tell us about that.
I went on the tour. I was enamored. I got off the bus. I was like everybody else. I looked around and gawked and took pictures and, had dreams about those little bicycles and the eateries and, the pool and the volleyball court, later that day. But I think the culture is really great. I love that. I love the culture. I love the kind of the innovation and the excitement that everybody has just by being a part of Google. So I think it would be a fantastic job.